Alright, so I'm making this video to document my disassembly of the RSX heater core. There's nothing that I've seen online about it so far. I've taken out the screws on the top. As I disassembled everything, I figured out that all the screws were the same size for the most part. There were a couple that were different. You can use like a socket on them or some kind of nut driver. For the most part, it's all just normal Phillips head screws for putting into plastic. So on either side of it, you can see there's some gear systems, and the gears on one side, I believe the left side is for the switching between the heater core and the evaporator for the AC system. And this one is what typically goes wrong in these. And the reason it goes wrong, as I find out disassembling, is that the motor that the HVAC system tells to turn all these gears and mechanisms with, the motor goes bad and it becomes stiff. And why it goes bad, who knows? They might get weaker over time, a little gear might break, or the lubricant might just dry up and overstress the motor until it just isn't as strong as it was anymore. But no matter the fact, it's fairly common that these go bad. And you'll see the blue line coming out of it is what connects to your the valve that lets the warm water in from the radiator to send heat to the cabin. So because mine's been broken and my motor's not working, I have to reach down manually and pull on one of these gear sets. By doing that, I manually select the heat. Yeah, I'm still disassembling on this. I found there were a lot of plastic covers, but that's to be expected when what you're dealing with. There's obviously seals and everything. Like, you can see the seal that I'm kind of focusing on. That is because when the evaporator is cooling, it can form a lot of condensation on it, which drips out of the drain port in the bottom of this unit. Now sometimes if you smell like a mildew smell coming from your AC, it can be from the evaporator core having water build up on it, or maybe your drain that comes out of the bottom of it is clogged. That's another common thing. Yeah, I really did take most of the screws out of this, and they're all basically the same length, same width. So from Acura, I don't believe you can buy this housing on its own. And you definitely can't buy the gears on their own that I know of. I think I shopped around and I was frustrated with the fact that I couldn't get the gears, because I initially thought that the gears were not meshing together properly or something, but upon disassembly it just became very obvious that it was more of a problem of just it not being able to turn them, and in all honesty, they probably needed to be greased up a little bit with some like all-purpose grease. Or the pipes that go in under your engine bay for the heater core. What you see in the upper right-hand corner is the evaporator module for the AC. You can see it looks a little bit fancier than a lot of cars' evaporators, because it's got foam all over it to try and keep the temperature in. And to be honest, it's called a condenser. it's got an evaporator coil on it, but that's just me using the wrong word. Um, there goes the heater core. Now I've got a pretty good view of everything and how it works in there. Um, I bought the entire HVAC unit or heater core unit online on eBay because to get the one in the RSX out, you have to completely disassemble the dash. And I was like, oh my goodness, I do not want to do that before I figure out what the problem is. And so I figured it might be cheaper to spend $100 on this and document it for everyone. Because, you know, at this point, RSXs are getting pretty old, with the newest one being, you know, the last one was made in 2006. Or maybe even 2005 for the 2006 model year. So it's got at least 15 years on it. So I suspect a lot of people will be needing help figuring out what's wrong with their heater core and I guess what I would call the HVAC control center. Yeah, so this motor, once I take this motor off, the little black box you just saw, everything becomes easier to move. So what I figured out was that the resistance coming from inside the black box, aka the broken motor, and badly lubricated gears, was the reason why it's not turning on its own. And I think that's the reason why mine failed. But I think I'm going to try and figure out what that motor is and if I can order a new one and put it on and get it to turn. And if I can get this one to turn, then I bet I can get mine to turn. So that's kind of the angle I'm taking all this from. Yeah, so here is me taking apart that little black box with the motor so you can see inside of it. And every single clip on it broke. Every single one. You can hear my frustration. Sorry for the bad camera angles. This is my first YouTube video. Yeah, this is a pretty typical sight inside of a lot of these boxes with motors in them. They always have some kind of gear reduction or something going on with these plastic gears. At least in the RSX, it has a lot of these with the climate control system. Yeah, I was just playing with it and trying to figure out if the motor was indeed the problem. And I see grease on this, but I do not think it's enough. I think if I slathered it with some red lithium grease, it would spin a lot more easily. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out my website, rsxtricks.com, for more RSX related content.